Well, hello there. Whew, what a busy, 3 days? Something along those lines. Three days worth of chaos and destruction and nuclear plants that are filled but not filled being blown up and army bases being shot at but not quite being shot at. And a whole lot of cunty attitude on the interwebs. Yeah. As if anybody had any fucking control over this shit. But I've noticed that this portion of the Dokudo is relatively important this time. Do not let yourself be saddened by a separation. Do not let yourself be saddened by a separation. This is in all things. If you find it necessary to end a friendship or a relationship or whatever, would behoove you to not be saddened by this. This is what we should all strive to do, because I know there's a lot of people, me included, who have known certain individuals within your life that has been toxic. I know that's an overused word and phrase nowadays. This is a toxic individual. But I'm thinking we all have that kind of person in our lives, the Debbie Downer, the nothing ever works right, and or the narcissist that always blames you for all their problems. All these individuals, the addicts, even people who have mental illnesses and choose to do nothing about that. You should separate yourself from those person. And the reason why is because they're not healthy to be around for you or themselves. If they're not willing to get healthy for you or themselves, they shouldn't be in your life. Don't let yourself be saddened by that. It's good for you. Yes. It's how we grow. It's how we become better. In the same way, like an acorn falls off of a tree, that's a separation. Neither the tree nor the acorn give two flying fucks about the fact that the acorn fell. They do, however, care that they grow into that acorn grows into a bigger, better thing, right? It grows into a tree, becomes strong, all that good stuff. And I noticed that a lot of people, and social media is probably the worst thing for this, because all it ever does is encourage us to feel sad and feel emotions or feel happy. But what I've noticed is people with a fuck ton of friends on Facebook nowadays, we're all posting shit on the social medias that maybe one person disagrees with. Oh my God, I can't believe you said this thing. And I mean, I'm guilty of that shit too. I can't believe my friends or family said something I disagree with. Bah humbug to you. There's a certain point where you kind of have to recognize that some of those people that call that Facebook calls friends, Instagram calls followers, YouTube calls subscribers. I'm not entirely sure what Twitter calls them, or X, whatever it's called today or nowadays. But I'll stick with Facebook in particular because it calls these people friends. And I think what a lot of people have discovered is that you're not necessarily friends with these people. They very rarely know who you actually are and care about you beyond whatever social media presents, right? I'm not saying that my friends list is filled with fake people or people I don't truly know. I am saying that getting into a pissing match with people on the internet that you know over stuff you can't control is not a wise choice. Is a blue raspberry ghost this time. Et spiritu vexatus. That's a Latin phrase I learned a few days ago. It's and troubled in spirit. We have to take care to guard our spirits. We have to take care to guard ourselves. This is followed by not necessarily Dokudo transcription, but rules from Musashi about how you should live your life. And that would be do nothing that is of no use. Fretting about some event thousands of miles away is of no use. I know the whole world has had an opinion on what's gone on, right? The American president is a servant, a puppet, a porn star, a whore for the leader of a different country. And what are you going to do about it? Right? I've seen a lot of people pontificate and decide that there's psyops and psyops with a psyop filling on a psyop crust. You don't know anything, but I have seen an awful lot of people get into fucking pissing matches over this shit. Your interpretation of the Bible is flawed. You read that wrong, and this person's bad. No, it's a divisionary tactic that's been used thousands of times. And in this case, I in almost defiance of Musashi, I know, crazy. Do not separate from these people. You disagree on one singular fucking thing, and of which everything can be true, right? Iran has nukes and will use them. Iran has nukes and won't use them. Iran doesn't have nukes and won't use them. Iran has nukes and doesn't have nukes and will use them if they got them. And how does anything you think impact any of that? And you're going to lose friends and resources over this. I don't know if all the people I've seen speaking on the subject, none of them speak Arabic. No, none of them speak Hebrew, right? You don't understand. I do, right? It's drawing lines and deciding on parties that you of something you can't figure out. If I dropped you in the middle of this conflict, you wouldn't know who was who. And it's the same thing that I saw with Russia and Ukraine. It's like, well, clearly the Russians are the bad guys and the Ukrainians are the bad guys. And I don't fucking know anything about this. And if you drop me in the middle of Ukraine, I wouldn't know who is who. So I have no opinion, and I'm not going to lose friends over that. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I've seen a lot of people talk about how they feel betrayed lately by a politician. I don't know how one feels betrayed by politicians. If you're paying attention to what the founding fathers had to say about the matter, you don't trust politicians just because they're politicians. Describe to me what a politician does. That's of value. Like anything. The answer is nothing, right? So I don't know why we're losing friends and we're losing loved ones over the opinions of people who have never lived your life, who have never been in your shoes and likely never will. Uh, it's not to pick on Bernie Sanders specifically, but I would like to point out that that guy has never held a 9-to-5 job of any kind. He was a professional moocher, and then he became a politician. And people are going to sacrifice friendships, sacrifice loved ones over him. The Orange Man, who was a historical Democrat up until 2016 when he decided he would run as a Republican. We're going to lose friends, lose friendships, and we're going to be mad at each other because he said something. I would have to say that your pride, which is a sin, is overriding your reason. I would say that you are filled with your own regrets and you're making it somebody else's fucking problem. Like, I voted for him because that was the guy who said the things I liked. And ultimately, when you understand the voting process here in the United States, that's all you're ever going to get is, well, he just happens to say the things I like. So I don't know why it is people are using the word betrayed when describing a politician. Never trust a politician, no matter who or what they are. They are not in your best interest. Ted Cruz, Dan Crenshaw, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Not a single fucking one of them gives two shits what happens to you. And in fact, if we all managed to somehow keel off and die, they would be all the happier for it. So I don't know. I don't put a lot of stock in politicians. They can't really betray me. I can never be betrayed by a politician because I don't trust them to fucking begin with. You can only be betrayed by things you trust. I never trusted the Democrat turned Republican who got us more gun control than Obama did. I never trusted Dan Crenshaw, the one-eyed wonder, because they're politicians. You don't become a politician. You don't become a senator, a president, or anything unless you've lied, cheated, stealed, and probably done some other uncouth things to children. Just saying, if there were doubts on Donald Trump's integrity, it probably should have died around the time Pam Bondi gave us the Epstein list, but it was just a link to a Rickroll video on YouTube. Like that's when your faith in the man should have died, because he didn't immediately fire her, and he has said nothing about the Epstein list. He's the one that controls whether things are or are not declassified, and that's remaining quiet. I don't know. I'm not one to willy-nilly fall for these things, because I'm going to tell you, stop being a cunt to your friends. Okay? I know this is crazy, but we're all going to die at one point. Every last one of us will manage to die. I, for one, am not keen on going and meeting my maker having been a cunt to my friends. I know, controversial topic, even if they disagree with me. I have a few friends that disagree with me on a routine basis. I'm not going to be a cunt to them. It's just not going to happen. And they can be as mad at me as they want. I'm kind of rolling right through all these points. All right, see, I only have a couple viewers, so I may have to restart this here in a little bit, but that's okay for some of you. But no. I know the world is dark and scary right now, but don't worry. It will get worse. Okay? Now I hear talk that the Orange Man has gotten a ceasefire in place, and Iran and Israel are being buddy all of a sudden. I couldn't tell you. I'm kind of shutting all that's nonsense out. It's nothing information at this point, and it has nothing. It does not impact us in any way, shape, or form, other than put us in a filthy fucking mood. My goodness, I've never seen so many people be outright hostile to quote unquote friends. You know, I'm at a loss for words. Honestly, I am. I had no clue that people could get that emotionally strung up on this shit. I mean, I've seen people be. The only other time I've seen people be this vitriolic towards each other is when COVID was a thing, and some people believed in it and some people didn't. I don't know. Be nice. Oh my. Hooked up on stuff. Don't mind me. Can't move my chair. I'm sitting down this time so that I don't knock the camera all around. But no. I would say getting worked up about Israel and Iran right now is something that is of no use. It has no consequence, zero whatsoever. One, because I highly doubt any nation is really looking to a boots on the ground exchange of warfare at this point in time. Uh, Russia being kind of worn out, Ukraine kind of absorbing people's munitions, Israel running out of rockets for its Iron Dome. I think everyone's a little bit fucking tapped at this point, so I don't think it's not going to go anywhere. It's kind of done. It's dead in the water. So again, I'm not understanding why we're getting angry. You know, this has been the case multiple times. I made a video where I stated this is the status quo. We were quiet when Trump bombed Syria and did the regime change there. We were quiet when Obama bombed Libya and some random and some other African countries. We were quiet for the Iraq War. We were quiet for the Afghan War. We were quiet when allegedly American black ops forces or special forces went into Pakistan, a sovereign nation that had not been declared an enemy, found Osama bin Laden and killed his whole lineage. We didn't say much then, but now suddenly we care because it's uh, reasons and such. Now we're upset because it's a sovereign, quiet nation or something along those lines. It's just kind of what the Americans do at this point, and not the Americans specifically, but the politicians. I'm more disappointed at the people who are still abiding that Trump gives a shit. or the people that are betrayed that he gives a shit. I can't believe it. He's a politician. He's a New York Democrat. That's what he is. That's what he will be. If you go and you look at his casinos and his hotels, guess what? Still no gun zones, gun free zones. Still, 4 years as commander in chief, then 4 years off, still gun free zones. Nothing changed. He keeps saying that your attack on the Second Amendment's over. It's still under attack in various states. It's just much quieter. It's not our focus. He's not a good person. He's my president. I support him as such. I want him to do a good job because I'm not an idiot, but he's a politician. They're all evil. Every last one of them is an evil piece of shit. And chances are every last politician in DC is on the Epstein list. And that's why we're never going to get that. That's my biggest concern is where the hell's the fucking list? We were promised that like day one. We're in June. I don't know. I'm just saying I'd like my list, please. I want to know. Speaking of this, I would not be overly worried about terror cells in the United States. No more so than normal. Look, if the threat of Iran is what is necessary to get you to take training seriously and carry your gun seriously and do anything seriously for that matter, then so be it. But you really ought to have learned after, I don't know, No Kings riots, BLM riots, the ICE riots. We've had a lot of domestic problems in this country recently. I don't know what else needs to be said to get people to take it seriously. Bad things are always on the horizon. It's warm now. Okay. Riots go up, crime goes up in the summer months. This is a long-standing statistic that's been proven, excuse me, over and over again. It's summer. People are willing to go outside now. Therefore, crime goes up. It's just objective fact. So I don't know, keep your head on a swivel or I want to stick with this one. Stop being a cunt to your friends. Okay? I don't know who out there needs to hear this. Stop caring what the politicians have to say. Be kind to your friends. Okay? And if they're not your friends, you sit there and you say, I don't know who the fuck this person is. I've never met them, never interacted with them, never anything. Get rid of them. Don't argue with these people. I know. I'm guilty of arguing with people to death. That's because I like debating with people. It's fun for me. I just enjoy it. Sometimes I lose, sometimes I win. Doesn't really matter to me. I have fun. Debating is fun for me. If you're one of those people who doesn't like debating with people and you're arguing with people you've never met on your friends list, I would strongly suggest you just separate from them. Don't let yourself be saddened by a separation. Getting into the deeper shit, though, going back to it, death happens to everyone. Okay. Death comes for us all, no matter what. And depending on your faith, mine being Christian, I am a Catholic. Uh, I can't find myself being saddened. And not because I won't miss a person, but because I celebrate where they get to go. Right. I'm sure Musashi had a different approach to these things when he wrote this down. My approach to it is that uh, people get to go and be with loved ones. They get to meet people that they've missed for decades. Uh, Once again, they are reunited with people they haven't seen in forever. Right. Um, the way I explained it to my son is because eventually his dog is going to die. It's a 6-year-old dog, but one day it will happen. And he asked me how death works and how does the death of a dog work. And I explained to him that, in my opinion, there's a reason why dog and is God spelled backwards. And I strongly believe that dogs are messengers to God. They kind of are preeminent, preset advocate, right? So people who abuse dogs, I don't think are making it into the kingdom. Uh, just my 2 cents on that. Um, but I explained to him that when that happens, they get to go and meet prior pets, like my prior pets, and that's why we shouldn't be sad. We should be happy, right? Or feel nothing at all, because people are free of pain, they're free of suffering, and they meet loved ones. I don't know what's to be sad about that. It's like sending someone off to go see a trip. I know it's hard. I know we miss there's a vacuum in our souls and in our lives when that person's gone. I understand that all too well. We can psychobabble it to high heaven, the 5 stages of death and dying, uh, sadness, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It doesn't necessarily help. It just comes down to the individual and your willingness and your ability to make reality what's happened. It goes back to accept everything just the way it is. Death is the hardest thing for us because it's kind of permanent, right? There's no going back, there's no altering it, there's no changing it. And so it hurts a little bit more. But the reason why Musashi says do not be sad, never let yourself be saddened by separation, is simply because it pulls you down. It leads to depression. Depression leads to not moving. It leads to doing things that are of no use. And that, most importantly of all, this is not what your loved one would want for you to do. Okay. So I don't know who out there is dealing with these problems. If this reaches you, I hope this helps. But if you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, that loved one does not want you to sit and stew and fall apart on their behalf because they're no longer here. They want you to live. They want you to thrive. They want you to be the best person that you can be. They want you to live your life. Okay. So always strive to push a little bit harder. It's okay to miss people. Don't be saddened by it. So that was never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Again, if that helps someone out there, then good. If not, and you think I'm full of shit, that's also okay. That's not the first time I've been told that. And in other news, it's kind of hard to talk about stuff that's not Iran and Israel right now. Like my YouTube algorithm is just filled with Iran and Israel. So I decided to share something useful, which is anything. Anything is more useful than that silly shit. It is 9 simple rules to help you on your path. And I'll try to find one that doesn't sound like old Asian crazy talk. Think honestly within yourself in your dealings with all men. So that was an interesting thing. The word honor that came up. I can't remember who the fuck it was I was talking to exactly, but honor became kind of a caricature word. And I would tell you that uh, we've had a few people throughout history that have described that men without honor are the same as men without chests. That is a C.S. Lewis quote. C.S. Lewis wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. Those of you who don't know who he is, he also was a World War I veteran. If I remember him correctly, he was at the Battle of the Somme. So if you know what that battle was, holy fuck. Or he was at Passchendaele. No, it's just also a big holy fuck. It was a big town and it was a flat grassland. No, uh, I think a big misconception about the word honor today is that it's oftentimes conflated with pride. And reasonably so, because every piece of cinema we've seen out there that has a man of honor is typically bestowed upon with a whole bunch of pride and unwillingness to back down, or he's always right, never wrong kind of individual, which I think is just silliness uh, of the worst kind. Because honor is not pride. Honor is doing the right thing because it's the right thing. I would describe Adam and Eve uh, as and in the garden as the most honorable people on earth because they do not lie. It's not until the apple of shame and dishonor appear that now suddenly they are lying to God. Um, we have an honor shortage in this in the world. I'm just going to say the whole fucking world at this point. People don't do the right thing, and likely because we're being worn down by social media, the made up nonsense, the fake. Where'd it go? The influencers, the and an influencer is one step down from a politician. These are people without fucking honor. Influencers, actors, politicians, all of them, they are without honor. They are not people you should idolize. They are not people to follow. They are people to be avoided, to be laughed at. Uh, in Japanese feudal culture, it broke down as the shogun. Well, chief most was the emperor because he was the communicator with their gods. Then the shogun, the daimyo, samurai, the merchant class, the farmer class, and finally at the very bottom of the hierarchy were the artisans. They were considered bottom of the rung people. And that's kind of been the case across many cultures: Greek, Roman, Egyptian. Typically, artisans sit at the bottom. It won't be until the works of Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo da Vinci, and I know I just named all 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, um, that you'll start to see artisans rise to the top, musicians, actors. Now we look at them and they're at the top. Again, do not look at people who have never lived your fucking life, who don't live your fucking life, but then have the need to go out and tell you how to live. Always be cautious. Um, they're liars, every last one of them. I don't know how many times it has to happen that a YouTuber, for example, will get to a high enough standing, and then it will turn out, oh, he was DMing kids. Uh, I don't know how. I mean, we've got a Jeffrey Epstein, or not Jeffrey, Harvey Weinstein. That's the one that was out there abusing women, female, sorry, actresses, and then you'd have a whole bunch more, and those actresses would hide the information and not tell the next line of actresses that this guy does this stuff. They're all predatory. They're all evil sacks of shit, right? You think about it. Harvey Weinstein assaulted how many women? And of those women, how many of those women told the next line of women, hey, he's an assaulting piece of shit? And of those women, how many told the next line of women? No, they all let each other fucking live with that and be attacked by this man. Don't trust actors. They're horrid, rancid people and should never be taken seriously. Especially since all they ever do is sell division. And if I must say so, shit fucking music. Because I can't stand any of the modern music anymore. The idolatry, the fucking bullshit. No, these are people without honor. Therefore, they're not people to be interacted with. Do not interact with people without honor. People who live life, are working hard to provide for their families, their not their friends, but provide for their families. Those are who we should be interacting with and be worried about interacting with. This shit, I don't know. I'm saddened by the state of the world right now. I'm saddened by all these masculine men crying and complaining about things that they cannot fucking control. Getting angry over what? Your interpretation of the Bible is wrong. Yeah. I mean, no shit. There's how many different transcriptions of the Bible at this point? How many of them are centered around the belief? This is kind of a downer episode, but it's been a kind of downer weekend. I don't know. It's been kind of depressing all weekend, And it started out as such a nice weekend. I got some shit done around the house, and then pop open Facebook. Oh my God, things are happening. Stuff's going on. Now everyone's mad. Being a cunt to your friends and all this other shit. And everyone's suddenly become a war expert. Everyone knows everything that's going on at all times, always, ever, forever. Yeah, everyone knows. I know what's going on. Do you know? And then, hey, Doug, how are you? I just now saw your comment. Wow, that was some latency. Anyways, enough Debbie Downer shit. What's going on with you? What's going on with you and the viewing pool? I'll point out that I get to go fix a toilet here once I get the parts to do that with. Not the whole bowl, good God, no. Just the internals. Inside the tank, if you will. Let's make sure this posted everywhere it was supposed to post. Oh, yeah, it did. It went where it was supposed to go. My, oh, my. Wow, I'm good just popped up, Doug. That was a long time. Holy smokes. I was going to talk about certain other things that I can't Well, I guess I'll talk about it anyways. Uh, Something I've heard a number of times now, and it's starting to concern me, is the number of iron sights people keep claiming fall off their pistols. These are specifically the competition guys. To which I have to say, do you not stake your iron sights? I do. Do you not? Uh, that was a thing I learned a while back, was to stake your front sight. I was a little surprised to find out that people aren't doing that. This came after a debate on Instagram, not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before that. I don't know who's seen that. Um, it was a debate between, well, it's not important who it was between, but it was a competition shooter versus I don't know what the fuck we call ourselves, a practical shooter versus a tactical shooter. There, we'll surmount it that way. And one of the points he made was that he only runs, the competition guy was making, was that he only runs red dots with no irons on his carry gun. To which I said, "But," and he furthered it out with saying that he sees irons falling off his gun all the fucking time, or not his gun, but off of students' guns, off of competitors' guns. Uh, I've never seen irons fall off of handgun that were staked. Like ever. And also, I don't run exclusively dot because I'm always afraid that they're going to break because it's glass. So that was an interesting little thing. I had meant to do my last week's live. I had meant to talk about that a little bit more, but then I went and caught me a stomach bug and died. So I missed everything. I said nothing because I just dead in my room. I don't know. I don't want to finish this on a Debbie Downer. So we're going to do another one. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. This is the biggest fucking challenge in American culture today. This is called shit talking. Don't shit talk people. Everything you say should be based in objectivity and reality, not, oh, he's a dickhead because of the things he said. He's a dickhead because the way he makes me feel. We just don't we don't regard them. So this is a twofer. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. I harbor no ill will towards anyone else. I have been working on this one myself. And what I have been trying to re-educate myself into understanding is I am not mad at this person. I have to recognize that not everyone has my life and that people see it differently. And that these people, and this goes towards commenters on social media, because as one instructor made quite the shit fit happen last week. You should get a dot, Doug. I have nothing against dots on a carry gun at all. I just like the green dots because I'm red-green colorblind and I can see the green. But an instructor created quite the shit fit storm on the Instagrams last week. And I found myself getting angry with a lot of these commenters, all these people like, you should, you should take the Kurt Cobain challenge. You're a bad instructor. You're a dangerous instructor. You're a trash person, blah, 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 blah. And what I had to force myself to understand, and I later said to another, these people are not trying to do harm. I know it's a bunch of and if we stick to like when I posted my sling video, all these people getting mad at me, they weren't trying to do me harm. Though their comments were rude, their comments were cruel, and they were not well spirited. They weren't trying to do me harm. They were trying to virtue signal. And much in the same way as you see crazed vegans say, don't eat meat, eat grass or whatever the fuck. That's what a lot of these instructor types on the Instagram age and all the socialist medias are trying to do when they go out and call you a dangerous instructor, or say this guy's dangerous, or whatever, this drill that I watched for 30 seconds is dangerous and low skill and all this shit. They're not proving anything. They're just trying to get a pat on the back from some unseen instructor or dude, and it's like, hey, look, I said a bad thing. Because you have to, what has to be realized is when you are looking at these social media, any of these videos that explode, right? Anything that goes viral, so to speak. Look at the first 4 comments, individual comments, right? And it'll be something stupid. So you'll see 4 comments of this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid. Every comment after that, that person was not interacting with the other 4 or you. You weren't even, you are just a vessel. You are the boat. They are just riding along the coattails. And the reason why they wrote for the 5th, 6th, and on down nth time is because they're seeking accolades and approval from someone else, right? So when you see the videos, the viral videos pop up, it's something stupid. And especially on Instagram, it'll tell you so and so also commented. That's why they do that, because so and so also commented. So now all his friends get to see, oh, look, this viral video that my friend commented on has now appeared for me, and I can open it up and look at that. It is stupid, according to me. This is why this is hard, is because you have to recognize that you're not the subject anymore. You stop being the subject about 4 comments in. You now became a vessel. You're just a boat. You are just a car, a means of transit for these people to show their friends how virtuous they are. That's the objectivity and the reality of these fuckers that comment, right? There's that resentment and complaint. These people who comment on viral any posts, actually, not just gun posts. So it's hard, because it's like, well, then why do they do it? For the same reason anybody does anything, right? I've seen people show up to John Farnham classes just to argue with John Farnham. People always want to impress other people. It's called peacocking. Look how great I am. Sorry. Look how great I am. Look how magnificent my feathers are. I am the fastest shooter. I am the smartest thinker. I am the everything. I want to peacock my way into your good graces. I want to impress you. I want you to be impressed by me. That's all that is. And as soon as you realize that, like, the next 196, 296, however many comments later, none of these people are worth interacting with, because they won't talk to you anyways. It'll be, you're retarded. Yeah, it seems like a personal insult, but it isn't. They're too stupid. Most of these people who feel the need to comment, it's like, all right, 4 comments in, I hit the threshold. Let's see, stupid, stupid, stupid. So 4 people agree with me. I could just give it a like, but no, I'm going to add my stuff. I am become good at Thing Man. This is true. We're doing a 2 for Andrew, because I ran through never be saddened by a separation a little quickly. So resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. And it's a challenge, because you have to understand when things are a threat and when they aren't. It's not a challenge. It's not a threat. These people who go out and say stupid shit and do stupid shit, they're ignorant. They're ignorant to life. They're ignorant to reality. That's fact. They just want people to like them. They want people to say, oh, wow, he's so smart. Look at him. He's really taking it too. That's why all these liberals and all the Antifas and everyone does this, right? If you've watched South Park, the new principal on their PC principal, they already covered it. The only reason he's a PC guy is so he can get pussy. It's no different. So when you realize that the only real reason that these people say anything, do anything, are anything is because they're serving another more base need. I don't, I don't know. I don't care about them anymore. You know, I've I don't know. It's just it's the weirdest thing when you realize that there's no reason that they have anything to say. They have nothing to say. You know, Antifa. Why does Antifa do anything? Why do they go out there and assault reporters? Why do they go out there and assault anybody? It's virtue. So that they can see themselves on the TV and they can say to all their friends, look, that was me. They don't, this is why none of them show up with fucking rifles. I mean, if you feel that fucking strongly about illegal immigration or Black Lives Matter, I would think that you'd show up with a gun, right? But they don't, because that's not what they're about. I flew all the way to fucking Texas because I was not able to disassociate myself from the fact that these people are nothing more than talkers. They're not doers. They're shooters, not fighters. This is the fundamental difference. The sooner I understand this, the sooner I can say safely, resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. You give these people attention, they keep coming. They do it for the reaction, right? It's kind of one of those things I learned about bullying long ago. I just never thought it would come back into my life. But most of the time, a bully uses verbal bullying is because he wants the reaction out of you. He wants the crash out, so to speak, the reaction. Don't pay attention to them and don't resent them because they're just taking up your bandwidth, your brain space. Ignore the fuck out of these people. Just saying, it works almost every time. None of these people fucking matter. They're never going to interact with you. In what? Fuck, I got that confused. Can't remember who said it, but they'll talk, but they won't walk. They'll talk the talk all day long. They'll never walk the walk. And I was supposed to be a 5-on-1 fight in Texas. I'm just saying, I just needed an address, really. I was gonna go there, but never fucking happened. Why? Because the reality is they're just gonna talk. That's all they ever will ever do. This is why, if we get into the meat and potatoes of it, this is why Musashi did not do dummy training swords. Everything was real steel for him. Why? Either it matters or it doesn't. If it matters, then it should be worthy of life or death. And if it doesn't matter, then I do not know why we're debating or arguing right now. Right? Oh, I think your practice is so dangerous and unreasonable, and you're a dangerous garbage instructor, and you're reckless. Oh, do you care to say this to my face? No. Then why are you here? If you're not going to come over here and properly educate me on why I'm wrong or how I'm doing things wrong, then why are you bothering me? And after that, I don't even think about them. I'm not resentful. I am appreciative of those 5 individuals who decided to run their mouths. I'm actually very appreciative. I'm appreciative of all my haters. Absolutely, I am. I would not be here if it weren't for them. Right? I know that seems strange, but it's true. You all made me a better man. You attacked. You came after me. Yeah, I tripped. I stumbled. I went and I worked for Amazon for a few months. Not ashamed of that. Put food on the table. Took care of my family. What do you fucking give a shit? Made me stronger. Made me better. Made me realize who you people really are. And it's like, well, as soon as you realize that these people are nothing, they're nothing. Their entire identity is localized solely off of whether or not they can press a trigger quickly. You stop hating and you start feeling bad. You feel sympathy. These people who give into their pride, who give into their wrath, who give into their base instinct sin. I don't feel anything for them. I feel so bad that you're that lost within yourself, within your own self-absorption, that you can't see the light on the other side. You can't see what you do to other people because you are lost. I don't feel anything towards these people anymore. I don't have any sort of complaint. I feel bad. I'm sad for these people, especially the ones that have Bible verses in their profiles and their bios. I don't know how many Psalms and Proverbs and Revelations and all this other biblical stuff I see in these people, and they're just laying into their pride, laying into their wrath. I'm angry at you because you made me see a video that I easily could have scrolled right past. I'm upset with you for this. This is your I feel bad. Oh my goodness. How do you give in to sin that far? To the point that you don't see what you're doing to other people. Oh, those 5 men who I was supposed to have it out with, I still have all the screenshots, and I went back and I looked at it, and all it is just 5 dudes peacocking for each other, trying to inflate each other's ego and pride to the point of critical mass. And it was just a competition with who could say the most degrading, degradatious, mean-spirited, and cruel thing. I can't think of a worse way to live. To constantly be in a competition to see how inflated my ego can be. That I'll take it out on people I've never met before. I'll try to threaten, bully, harass, harangue, and other such adjectives. I don't know. It was sad. It's sad now. And so when you realize that, your life gets simpler because all that shit, all those negative comments, all those mean-spirited people, first of all, you're never going to meet them in real life. It's just not going to happen. Not a single one of them will ever do that. So let's just get that out of the way. Number two, if you do happen to meet these people in real life, I will tell you now, they'll probably turn around, and do that power walk where it looks like you shit your pants. They might actually shit their pants, but that's what they'll do. They'll just turn around, walk away. They won't interact with you because they're ashamed. We all know this to be true. We've seen it time and time again. Someone talks shit. The guy goes and finds them in real life. Crowder used to have a lot of those videos, didn't he? Steve, who else remembers Steven Crowder going and finding these people who would threaten him with bombs and guns and knives, and he'd go and he'd meet them, and every single one of them wasn't willing to stand by the shit they said on the internet. Every single one of them ran away. Think about that for a fucking second. I think if even one of them had actually stood their ground against Crowder, he would have put that all over. I never once saw one person do that. These people are no different. These people who carry guns for fun, not for serious purposes. And that's all there is. As soon as you realize this, nothing can hurt you. Nothing can distract you. And that's ultimately what we have to be careful of. The shit that distracts us from what truly fucking matters. I'm now devoting my time debating, arguing, and fighting with some asshole on the internet when I could be playing with my kids. I could be tending my chickens. I know I've mentioned that a lot of times, but chickens do require some attention. I could be writing something down, writing down a drill, recording a video. I could be out here helping other people become stronger. I could hit the gym. I could read a book. I can do a lot of things. Arguing with people, having resentment, having complaint for others is not appropriate, neither for myself nor others. I don't care what other people have to say. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't factor into my life. That's all there is to that. This is how we become better people, stronger people. Stop listening to the minutia. To borrow something from I believe James made it really popular. Just banhammer the motherfucker. Don't interact. Don't engage. Do not engage with these men who can't see their own sin. These men without honor. Don't engage with them. There's no point. It's like arguing with a wall. Aesop fable that I really like, the tiger and the donkey. Tiger argues with the donkey. What happens? Oh, the sky is blue and the grass is green. No, the grass is blue and the sky is green. Tiger goes and tells the lion. What does the lion do? I sentence you to silence for a period of 5 years. Why? I'm clearly right. The tiger says. The lion responds, yes, clearly you are correct. But you made it my problem arguing with a donkey over something like that. And that's why you will be punished. That's no different. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. And never let yourself be saddened by a separation. These are distractions from what matters. Okay. Self care matters. You should be in the gym. You should be eating healthy. I'm not on that one yet. We'll get to that one, but do not pursue the taste of good food. We'll get there eventually. Relax. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that. Any questions, comments, concerns? Uncouth words? I'll give it a few minutes because that latency is crazy, especially from what I saw from Doug. That is some wild latency. So give it a minute, and then if nothing, then I will stop doing things that are of no use. Man. All right. Well, then I hope everyone has a wonderful night. I would recommend you read a book. No, you cannot change the behavior of a degenerate. That is for them to change. You cannot stop the prideful from being proud. You cannot stop the lustful from being lustful. Talk about bayonets. So this will be something interesting. All rifles that you consider a fighting rifle should have a bayonet lug. I'm aware that some out there will tell me about some 20 years worth of whatever the fuck. I don't care. Your fighting rifle or your fighting shotgun should have a bayonet lug because I didn't prep for this at all. So, but I'm going combat art Andrew there. We talked on the phone today, and I was talking about how we need to get away from clean fighting in this industry. And what is clean fighting? Clean fighting is any sort of fighting where you think you're not going to get dirty with someone else's inside fluids, right? This was kind of exemplified with that debate I was talking about earlier from a couple weeks ago. Concepts were a little lost. Those 5 individuals I was supposed to fight, the idea that a pistol with a slide lock to the rear would break if you used it to crack someone's skull tells me that this person's never tested that theory, never tried it, and so generated an opinion based off something that is an incomplete martial art. So getting back to it, bayonets need to be a part of your equipment list. One reason is most bayonets I know of, so the AK bayonet and the M9 bayonet for ARs are also wire cutters. So those are always just useful to have. But also because you can use your weapon to its fullest extended purpose. You can use this beyond just a shooting implement. We used to understand that as a populace, as a warfighting populace, that you need bayonets on your stuff. Your rifles need bayonets. When we were doing World War I and we had bayonets on everything, we also were doing a lot of CQB. And I've seen people say, well, those were back in the days when bolt action rifles, and we don't need it now because we got semi-auto guns and full auto guns. It's like, yeah, they had submachine guns back then too that also had bayonets. If you look at the old MP18s from Germany, those had bayonets. If you look at the trench gun, the M1887 trench gun, slam fired shotgun, it's got a fucking sword instead of a bayonet on the end of that thing. This was something we understood, and we stuck with this understanding when we went on to World War II, when we were still encountering close quarters battle with trained and known hostile entities. We had bayonets. The M1 Garand, the M1A. I think the Thompson didn't, but I believe the Bar did have a bayonet. I believe there were also plans for the 1919 machine gun to also have a bayonet. So I'm just saying, bayonets. You can make the end of your gun really pokey and not fun. I think that had Kyle Rittenhouse had a bayonet on his AR-15, I don't think anybody would have tried to fuck with him. I know they damn sure wouldn't have tried to grab the muzzle because that's what the sharp pointy bit is. So, yeah, bayonets, man. Y'all need at least one, in my opinion, okay? You need at least one fighting gun that can take a bayonet. So if it's an AK or if it's an AR, it needs to be a mid-length gas tube, okay? So 16 inches, mid-length gas. That allows you to put the bayonet on there and have about that much blade sticking out the muzzle. Not carbine length, because you'll only have like 2 inches worth of blade. So mid-length gas system gives you the most. Rifle length gas system, there won't be anything for the bayonet to attach to except for just the lug. So there'll be no the ring on the handguard, or the, yep, that's what I want, handguard, won't be able to lock onto anything. So just have a wibbly bayonet. So mid-length gas tube, or the Mossberg 590A1 has a bayonet lug that you could put the M9 bayonet, and I believe the Marine Corps bayonet, which I have no idea what that's called, will also fit on that shotgun. I think every fighting gun, you should have at least one fighting gun that can take a fucking bayonet. And when hell or high water comes, you stick the bayonet on that, and you're not going fucking anywhere. Even this empty gun is pointy and dangerous. So, there, I spoke of bayonets. You're welcome, Andrew. All right, any questions, comments, or concerns this time? Give it a little bit of time. I need to go to I need to take a bayonet class. I just don't know anyone who teaches bayonets. So I'll have to go to archive footage from World War I and World War II. All right. Well, if that's that, then I shall catch all of you next week. Let's see. I skipped one. I did 2 today. So next week will be do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Oh, God. Talk about a rough one. That's going to be a hard one. You're now offering bayonet classes. Well, there you go, everyone. Go sign up for Combat Art Training's bayonet classes. I'm sure they'll be fun. Probably more structured than mine will ever be, because I'm the Ashigaru sling guy, and everything I do has to be different. So, all right. You all have a wonderful night. I'll catch you all on the next one.